Hello, everyone. Bill Molyneux here for Bill's Wargame World, and we're at Walt's Secret Lair. And Walt, take it away. What is this room?
It used to be my daughter's room when she was little, and my wife was into having the walls painted. That's why you see like the roses growing on the trellis there. But since Caitlin's moved out and grown up, I'm putting it into good use. I'm making it one of my little storage areas for my Marx playset stuff, Marx and Barzo and MPC and all the other good guys. So
It's amazing here. Would you mind giving us a little tour, left to right, I
sure,
guess?
sure. This one is what got me back into collecting Marx playsets. A fella from Rhode Island, Tom McMillan, at one of the war game conventions, and I play with him all the time for Ancients tournaments. He said, Walt, this was in the basement of so-and-so's house. He goes, I thought because we were talking about it, you would like to have this. Well, this was like a second Christmas for me. So after that and getting that, it just got me into this whole collecting thing. This is like back in the 90s. So slowly and gradually, I've added stuff to the line. Going pretty much some of the Mark sets I had as a kid, had multiple giant.
Now, is that blue and the gray? Is that considered one of the holy grails?
Yeah, this one is, and so is that one there, Civil War Centennial. But this is the mother. This is the one everybody loves.
Okay.
So I would get those every Christmas, at least into the mid '60s. So, and then of course, Marx made the Zorro play sets. They made Cape Canaveral. They made Robin Hood, which is
I see Davy Crockett and the Alamo.
yep, they did it. So they tied into all the things that were going on.
Now, what's a heritage place at the bottom? Is that
That's
Civil
this
War?
that well, yeah, it might be, but the bottom line is this is when Mark started to downsize because the play sets weren't as a big an item. So they first went to the heritage, which you can see is from Sears,
Okay.
and then eventually they went to the metals like you've got, the suitcase style. You can barely see them down there in the corner.
Okay.
See the metal ones?
Yeah.
And then finally they got bought out by Quaker Oats, and then it went to, you could buy them in basically a giant Quaker oatmeal tube, is how
Can you
you
do the
buy them.
oatmeal thing again?
No.
Oatmeal tube.
Now, I do have one thing here that's really kind of neat because I've seen this on eBay, which I know the guy's just cranking it.
Well, it looks like a cardboard castle or something.
It is, and it's from the Big Caesars that came out in the mid '60s. This thing I've seen on eBay for $1,000, which the guy's he's saying I don't want to sell it, but made me put a ridiculous price on it to get people's attention. But this is a hard to find piece.
It's cardboard, isn't it?
Yeah, all it is cardboard. But because it's cardboard, most of them don't survive. So
now, how old is that, Mr. Walt?
65, so 35, 25. Is that 60 years?
60 years.
That's about right.
And it's in great condition too for 60
that
years.
One is. Yeah, it is. It is. I've got some MPC night stuff that I use now. Then you come along with Ron Barzo, who I love him. He does some great play sets, which you mostly see them all in there. Every year he would come out with a different set. I remember going to the Chicago Toy Soldier Show, and when I was there, he had in the middle of the foyer of the hotel the Robin Hood play set.
What the heck?
All set up.
That's almost the size of a casket.
Oh, and it was a big display he had. But so anyways, I was able to order it and have it shipped because there's no way you're going to put it on the plane and go home with it. But he just made play sets that are right in the wheelhouse. And you can see then later on he did the Battle of Yorktown, the Battle of Lexington and Concord, the Shores of Tripoli, which is down here.
Okay, the Shores of Tripoli, that's pirates in like 1815 or something?
Yeah, one of our first international explorations.
Now, what is this next row of play sets, Walt?
The third row?
This row here, this
is all Barzo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
now, what's in the Zorro box? I mean, just a rough description. It's a big box.
It's a big. If you want to, we can go in the other room and set it up.
No, I'm not trying to put you out because it looks like there's a lot in that box.
But you are putting me out, Bill. The next one is Conti. Richard Conti is such a card because he took his He was able to marry movies with miniatures, and he did a phenomenal job of it. So he was able to get a Zulu that looks like the Zulu movie. The set when he did this is mimicking that. Then of course he did the Warlord with the big turret, the big castle.
The big castle.
Then he also came out with Stamford Bridge, which is.
I need to move over
Oh
a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit.
Go ahead. But he came out with Beaugest. He came out with D-Day. But they're all basically centered on movie themes. And so, like when I showed you today the new character he came out with, Kirk Douglas throwing the axe.
Right.
Yeah. So he's back in it again. He was out of it for a while. I think the 2008 issues with the economy kind of hurt him.
Well, what's
So
in the center of the table before we hit the? What
this
is this?
this is a Marx playset that came out, I think, in the late '60s. And what was neat about it was the old Robin Hood castle that they then put a plastiform moat around it that you could fill with
Now, is
water.
that plastic or metal?
This is the fort is metal, and they use this fort for a boatload of different games.
Okay.
So, but they used the plastiform, which was different about it. And these are not your 54 millimeter Vikings and Knights. This is like a 45 millimeter. They're smaller scale.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna pause the camera here. We get reorganized. Well, as we do the next section, what the heck is a Johnny Reb cannon?
Well, Bill, it's something I didn't have, but I have it now.
Holy cow!
This thing, it still shoots. I should have it loaded and aimed at you. But you put the cannonball in, you take out the ramrod.
And it's got a ramrod?
Oh, yeah, and the ramrod's got a little hole in it, so you can shot, because it's got a pole right in the middle of it to guide the ball.
Okay.
And it shoots probably about 15 to 20 feet.
And it shoots a little round cannonball.
Yeah, about yay big, which is in the box.
Okay.
So.
Well, that is really neat. Well, let's go down this list. The Civil War Centennial.
Yeah, this is not as this is one of the holy grails of sets as far as the artwork goes. It's this one and the giant blue and gray. Below that are Lexington and Concord. This, of course, is part. Well, this one's not, but this is part of the Lexington set. Below that is the bridge for Concord Bridge. Over there, I forget whether that's. I don't think that's Boonesboro. I forget which set they came from for the fort. And then below that is part of the Fort Ticonderoga fort. He calls it the Stone Fort, but it's Fort Ticonderoga.
Right.
And of course, that's only part of it. The rest of it's in storage in the other room.
All right. Well, I guess I'll shift over here to the corner there, Walt.
Okay.
I see a Panzer IV or something sticking out.
There's some stuff here right now that's just in transitional storage.
In transitional storage.
Yeah, it's like so.
What is a big Caesar? Is that big Roman ship that Goober was riding around in?
Yeah, that was cool. Really, the only thing on here is you've got the moon base, and the moon base is kind of like a plastic piece like this is as the foundation for it, and then you have all these different 1960s ideas of what space travel would be like.
So there's like astronauts and stuff in
there. Yeah, and moon buggies and things like that.
I'll see if I can get a little closer to the description.
And rocket launchers.
Space capsule, radar antennas, astronaut figures, exploding terrain, flying saucer. So you have aliens that could be visiting.
Yeah.
Very cool, Walt. And what were you feeding your figures? They look huge.
Yeah. So I bought those on a lark just because of Napoleon Solo. So most guys wouldn't even know who he is. But below that, I've got some of his 6-inch sets. Cowboys, Indians, 7th Cavalry, Vikings, and Knights. And then they also made World War II. So you have your Germans, your Japanese, your Russians, Americans.
Now, I got to ask a molding question. How do they make this? I'm going to use this as an example. This figure here that looks identical to the Aerofix Fort Apache figure. How do they go from 54 millimeter to, I guess, what's that, 180 millimeter? Like how does the mold maker, does he recarve a new one?
Well, there's a thing called, is it Panavision? There's a way in which they can pan it. So, for example, downstairs I've got I'll show you some of the miniature sets The miniature sets, which are like this tall and painted that you could buy, were originally 54 millimeter Warriors of the World. And you can have one right next to the other. And they basically pan it down and then make the mold and take it from there. So
Oh, okay. Because I didn't know if they had to make a whole new sculpture or something.
they didn't. No, they just simply were able to somehow design it so it could shrink down.
Well, in this wonderful room of Marx going back in time, is there anything else you'd like to say about anything in here before we close out?
It's a happy room.
Yeah, yeah, it sure is. All right, everyone. I think, Walt, if you're done, we'll say stay safe, be kind, be courteous, and thank you for this tour.
Be true to your school.
And be true to your school. Hey, everyone. I lost Walt. I thought our video was done, and then he scooted into this room. Holy cow. Walt, what's in this room?
This is the Matthews old room. And again, Nancy had the walls painted. She was into
It
that.
looks like a mountain scene behind you.
Yeah, it is. It's when we came back from out west. So what made me think of this is talking about the Warriors of the World and the shrinking. So I don't have any of the Warriors of the Worlds up here. They're all in the basement. But this is one of those sets where
Now, this is plastic or metal or paper?
it's all plastic.
All plastic.
Everything's plastic. But what was neat about it was you would buy the figures, and they're basically HO scale in that range, but they came pre-painted.
Oh my goodness. And these were Marx.
Yeah, this was all Marx. But here's the catch. There are Marx, evidently Marx did the design, but they are all produced in Hong Kong. And so they had a short lifespan in sales because of contracts. But, you know, they were very popular for a short period of time.
So they had mounted knights.
Oh, yeah. And they have a Viking set, like this is like gold knights against silver knights. And then they also had a Viking knight set. But I mean, you know, you got your catapults.
Now, were the foot figures painted also?
Oh yeah, they're in here somewhere.
Look at that catapult, everyone.
Then you got a trebuchet that actually reaches the height of the wall. Oops, wrong way, Walt. There
Wow, this is a great. I mean, getting this set for Christmas as a kid would be just like. And if you didn't have a lot of room, going to this scale is really good.
No, but you know they are plastic, so therefore they are breakable.
Look at that knight there.
But if anybody is familiar with Warriors of the World, these are Warriors of the World figures that they pan down.
Pan down.
But those clearly are all...
And they're all painted by, I mean, the company had them painted.
In Hong Kong, yeah.
In Hong Kong.
So this was the birth of the explosion of the Chinese production.
Yeah. And do you have any idea if these were hand painted or was it?
Oh, they had to be. You take a look at them, you can tell they were hand painted.
So they weren't a little machine or something.
But yeah, but the growth of this actually came out of the Warriors of the World. They had a huge success with Warriors of the World. I can still remember the advertisements on TVs. Own one, own them all. But so they basically went to the same people to manufacture and to paint these and then bring them over. So at that point, Marx was beginning to outsource some of the products they were selling.
Now, this was sold in America?
Yeah, sold in the States.
Okay.
But of course, they produced it over there and shipped it here.
And then shipped them here from Hong Kong. Well, that is amazing, Walt. And what's this one you have over here?
Here's one that's a Western town. This one has not been put together, but again...
This thing looks mint, Walt.
This one is, yeah.
So you have like your sheriff and bank and the stable probably. And
yeah, it's never been opened.
Never been opened. Let's ruin the resale value, Walt.
I take it back. The coach has been opened. The stagecoach.
Let me get a close up of that stagecoach, and that's 170. Look at the detail of that.
I got fat fingers.
My goodness. You know, they made good toys back then, didn't they, Walt?
They made it incredibly. Here you go.
Look at that. And it's pre-painted. Let's get a time machine and go back in time. So you got half a dozen buildings in there.
Yeah. And then the way they make it to where you've got cardboard stock to put on the outside of them to give them the color.
Okay. And what's in the little brown box at the end? Is that where figures are kept?
I'm wondering if, no idea. Nope, you're absolutely right. Now, these have been opened.
Okay. So there's your cowboys. Look at that.
Well, you know who that is.
Let me get a close up here.
Do you recognize that figure? That's a Marx. That's from the Marx Civil War playset.
Yeah, that's a Marx Civil War figure. Look at that.
And this is one of the standard Marx. I think it came out of Dodge City, but they use that in several of their 54 millimeter sets.
Well, this is quite amazing. I've never seen these, Walt. Just incredible that you have this, and I see in the back you have the rest of Fort Ticonderoga behind you.
Yeah, I'm trying to consolidate.
Well, I do have to ask now. Have you ever seen or collected or the comic book figures that all us young kids would see in the comic books, and the pictures look like, oh, you're going to get this super awesome battle, and the little itty bitty box arrives 6 months later?
Yes, you mean an itty bitty box like this?
Oh, you actually have the itty bitty box, and you know, the comic book makes it look like
oh, I know, huge.
You're going to get this huge army.
These figures I absolutely love because some of the sculpting or some of the designs they did on them were just really well done.
Now these are flats, right?
These are flats. So you look at that and you go, oh, that's great. And then you pull out an infantry figure and all of a sudden it's King Kong. He's bigger. I know. It just drives you nuts.
So all the infantry figures are bigger than the cavalry figures.
Yeah, it's like they had two different guys doing it all.
And you have what the Black Knights against the White Knights.
Yep.
And this is one of those many comic book groups, huh?
Yep.
Well, that's really cool. You answered my question on that, and I always thought those comic book ads were, the Civil War and Revolutionary War pictures. They made it look like you're going to get this giant battle,
and right. Oops, they go in here.
Well, one of the things I remember, I think it took a month's allowance. I had my parents order me the Civil War exploding bridge set, and I was very disappointed. It was a handful of figures and 2 bridges with rubber bands on them.
Oh yeah. I remember the advertisement because it showed the bridge blowing up in the comic book.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, do you have any of those Civil War figures?
Oh, I might.
They go for a lot.
I might, Mr. Bill.
Those, I have it. Mine are long since gone. Probably in the playground and stuff.
I'll look for that, but real quick, because I don't go through this stuff much anymore.
What's in here?
Is there a company called Lido, Lido? Here, hang on a sec.
Okay.
This is from back in the 50s, but they're the Lido Knights. And I want to say at one time you could actually get some of these in cereal box promotions. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me.
Wow. I think my brother David had some of these.
Yeah.
They were a weird plastic, yes.
Yeah. But you know what? When you're going through your second childhood and you think about things that, that were neat when you were a kid, either you want to try to either buy back the memory or buy back your youth. This helps connect you. So, but anyway, this is the Lido stuff. Set that to the
now,
side.
Is that manufactured in England or Germany?
Oh, that's a good question, Bill. Lido Toy Company. Well, the toy company's in New York. I would be surprised if it was made. They actually produced it here. I'd be surprised. Although back in the 50s, we didn't have all the restrictions on manufacturing like we have today. So, and these are a bunch of NPC Knights, and they did their thing. All right, let's get this out of here.
I remember getting this with a castle, I think.
Yeah, exactly, and it had a catapult with it.
Yes. So, what is Walt opening up now?
Well, you know what? You mentioned about the advertisement magazines.
Yeah, and you get the comic book, and
here's what I'm going to show to you in a second. Let me just see if there's any other ads in here. I think it's probably just for this one. That's the one for the Army men in plastic.
Okay, and that's that Foot Locker that's about 6 inches long, but they made it sound like it's going to show up at your house with B-52 bombers and $1.25. But $1.25 back then was real money.
Yeah. It was, well, hell, you weren't being paid. Minimum wage was $1 in 1970. Ask me how I know that.
How do you know that, Walt?
Because when I started working in 1970, I got paid $1 an hour minimum wage. So $1 back then was an hour's worth of work, and back here it was probably 25 cents an hour. Oh. Okay, here we go. It's just what you're asking for. I'm not done.
Okay. This is like Christmas morning, Walt, going through these tubs.
This is kind of cool for me, Bill. I'm glad you talked me into showing you this stuff because I haven't looked at it in so long. Okay. There's another one in here too.
So, what are you bringing out now?
Well, first off, you talked about Civil War. This is before they came out with what you probably grew up on. These are the ones that I got as a kid.
Oh, I don't remember these. These are flats.
Yeah, these are flats. And again, it's a scale issue. Take a look at the Merrimack, how big that is.
Okay.
And then you compare it. Here's your cavalry
figure.
There's
our cannon. And then here's our cavalry figure.
Yeah,
okay.
Crap. But then again, take a look at your infantry figure. Well, that's not too bad a scale.
Not too bad. Let me get over here because it being flats, I need to get a side view.
Look at your mortar.
Now, why the heck is that cannon? That mortar?
I don't know. You have a funny feeling these sculptors must have been overseas and not here to say, oh, there's your Gatling gun for your Custer's Little Bighorn.
Well, there's Gigi the Gatling gun.
There she is, Gigi.
And Walt, you're one of the few people that probably got to turn a crank on a Gatling gun.
Yeah, people say I've been cranking it out for a long time ago. But I don't think you're talking about cranking out bullets. So that's that. But then here's the Civil War figures that came out later.
This is what I had.
Now, there's a company called Giant. Also, they've gone by the company. But Giant is the one that made all of this in the plastics, which is it's just fun. And of course, these are all they pan these.
So these are, I remember this Marx figure.
These are all Marx figures that have been panned down and produced by this company. And this company had nothing to do with Marx as far as producing these figures for Marx. This was a separate operation, just produce these for the comic book company.
Okay.
That was selling them.
I believe they were called Helen of Troy or something in the comic book company.
Helen of Troy is the other one. Helen of Troy, Lucky, and Giant. And if you go to eBay, if you type in any one of those three, you'll see they all cross-pollinate.
Well, that's amazing. And we got to get the bugler out here. And where's the Confederate? Those are some of my favorite poses in the Marx set. And it's amazing. They're identical to the 54 size.
I just love how they have a Confederate stand-up area with an American flag.
Yes, they do. Well, this is quite the treat, Walt, that you opened up the secret vault of wargaming figures.
Last but not least, and I think they also made plastic Romans.
Plastic Roman. Now, they're flats, too.
Yep, and the same issue that the infantry figures are as big, if not bigger, than the mounted figures.
Okay, and that's a chariot, right?
Yeah.
Very nice. Now, this is sort of a brittle plastic, so these wouldn't hold up well if with heavy playing and being shot at with marbles.
For war gamers, no. I think that's really, because the rest of the stuff here, well, I will show you one other thing.
All right, let me pause the camera, Walt. We'll get reorganized. Well, Walt, I just saw you brought out a big plastic box. What the heck is in that?
Well, there's two companies right now that are really doing a good job with plastic figures.
Okay.
One of them you'll see downstairs when we play our Lion Rampant game later today.
Okay.
And that's Expeditionary Force. But then the other one is LOD. And so what they've done, they've come out with all kinds of neat things for the ancients.
Okay.
So you have Troy in 54 millimeter, and they make a nice line of Persians, and Expeditionary Force does as well.
Now this is 54 millimeter, Walt?
Yes, 54. The one true scale.
The one true scale.
that goes there. But, and I'll show you some of the figures real quick. But this is the pièce de résistance.
My gosh, Goober could ride in that.
We ought to put Goober on.
Yeah, we left Goober the Traveling Bear downstairs. We didn't know we were going to be up here like this.
No.
This is what, a styrofoam plastic?
Yeah, it's the same thing that Barzo used for all of his. And like, if you ever buy any scenery from Atherton, it's all blown foam.
Now, is this pre-painted, Walt? Or
Yeah, you bought it this way. The first time I saw this, I was up at John's shop at Gettysburg, as you would say, Mr. John. And
then we have, and this is what, LOD you said?
LOD. And they just bought out Barzo a year or two ago, so they're reproducing a lot of the Barzo stuff. And they just came out last year, finally. Someone came out with American Revolutionary War Dragoons.
Wow.
Prior to that, you had to convert stuff. But these are their Trojans.
And it's a rubbery plastic, right?
These are a little bit harder plastic. They're more of a resin material.
More of a resin, okay.
But they're pretty resilient.
Now, how do they do for holding on paint?
Well, you and I both know the secret to that. You hit it with a white primer, and you use the white primer from Krylon.
Yeah.
Or there's another company I use too. And when you primer it, you can feel even after it's dried that the paint is tacky. So that helps give it flexibility. So once you do that, you're good.
You're good. All right, because I get a lot of questions, and I like the gray and the white Krylon, bonds to plastic. I buy mine at Walmart, Walt. I don't know where you get yours.
Ace Hardware.
Ace Hardware. All right. Well, this set is incredible, and it'd been funny if we had Goober up here. He could have been riding the Trojan.
Well, we'd build him the city. We'd have him fortified.
Now, as you're picking up, Walt, I'm going to ask you, what are we going to make our next video about down in the basement?
We're going to do a Lion Rampant game, which I haven't played yet, but I've watched enough videos, and it's going to be 54 millimeter. All the figures are going to be, for the exception of a couple 3Ds that I printed up, are going to be Expeditionary Force.
Okay.
They're just fun to paint. They truly are fun.
Well, I'm going to ask you again, Walt, before we close out, is there anything else you want to show us?
I think we nailed it, Bill.
All right. I mean, there's tubs after. We could be here all day going through all this.
Yeah. There's a big ass. There's a big ass river up there.
All right. Well, Walt, I'll download this video and we'll get prepared for the basement game. And we already did our stay safe, be kind thing, but I will say have you wave goodbye to all our viewers. And stay tuned for more Chucklehead videos coming out soon.